Want to welcome everybody here tonight. This is part two of a four-part educational series on the X2O light infused water. And so last week we actually had Dr. Horst Filzer on, and he talked about the science of hydration in water. And we kind of maxed out the lines that night, so we went ahead this tonight and we put this also on YouTube. And that YouTube streaming is in the link is in the chats if we need to go there. Until we hit the 1,000 mark, let's just go ahead and stay here. So tonight we have a very special guest with us tonight. Our guest is Meredith Berkich, and Meredith is the president, network president, and in charge of marketing for LifeWave. And Meredith, I think that Gregory actually has you. There you go. So Meredith is on the road. She's traveling. So we're fortunate to have her here tonight. And we're fortunate to have her at all because she's a very, very busy lady. But what I want to do, first of all, is a lot of you know who I am because we've been doing this for a while. But I want Meredith to show, to explain a little bit about her background. It's not often that you actually have someone that comes in and runs a large network marketing company, the fastest growing networking company in the world right now in direct sales, and that has a background in network marketing. Company I was with for the last 18 years prior to LifeWave, people that ran that company didn't have a network marketing background. They had never built a network marketing business. Meredith has. So Meredith, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, and we'll start there.
Thanks, Coach Jim. Does that my sound good?
Your sound's excellent.
Thank you. I never know when you're traveling. It's like the lighting's terrible. Is the camera working? It's always tricky. But you're right. Before I jump into that, it's there's been so much great activity going on right now at LifeWave. It's such a blessing, I think, for this community to know all the great work that's being done. I just flew in from Florida. Got to be with David Schmidt as he was showing his support for not only the Red Cross, but for the ROC and the Navy SEALs. There are such great work being done for vets that have come home and are having trouble transitioning and need housing and just maybe a friend, maybe just somebody to love on them and help them through what they've been through. And not that you ever escape it. Certainly after the testimonies that we heard on Thursday, it was just gut wrenching, of course, to be around that. It's very humbling and makes one very grateful. So, but to see David's heart for all of you to know that your founder, your CEO, it is so engaged and so involved in wanting the world to be a better place. It was great to see him on stage speaking. And again, it was all about the vets. It was all about the soldiers. It wasn't about LifeWave, but to be there. And these are people that he patched over a decade ago. People were coming up to me and just all that he had meant to them back in the day when he was traveling around and helping everybody, just to feel better and overcome, their discomfort and challenges that they had, with the technology. So that was fantastic. I'm here right now in Dallas. I just arrived a couple of hours ago at the DSN. So we're very excited here at the Direct Selling News annual conference. And this will be really exciting because I'm hearing the word is on the street that we have climbed multiple positions and perhaps even broken into the top 15 direct selling companies in the world. And we'll find out all that unveiling at tomorrow night's award dinner. So, and that, of course, is as a precursor to the upcoming movie and film debut at the film festival. So many things happening, but it's interesting. You called it out. Jim, with the fastest growing. And I mean, we have to, we kind of look at those numbers and really, unfortunately, fastest growing is a percentage of growth. Well, it's easy to grow fast when you're $100, because I can have a 5,000% increase to be the fastest growing. But when you get to be our size, and you kind of break that mid-century mark or that, I'm halfway on the way to a billion, you're not necessarily going to be the fastest growing anymore because you're just too big and your numbers won't stack up that way anymore. So what I can say is, what we are is in my opinion, something that you should say often is, we're the best business opportunity in direct selling anywhere in the world. There's no one with a better founder. There's no one with more dedication. There's just no one with a brighter future because you have that at LifeWave. And so I just think as you look at business opportunities, and I just came up from a CEO meeting just a moment ago, just talking to a lot of CEOs, and we still are something everybody's looking at us, just saying, wow, LifeWave really is a shining light and literally in the industry. So anyway, just congratulations to all of you for having made a decision to be here and plant your flag with David Schmidt and others. And I think that, you mentioned it, Jim, and I really appreciate what you said, because that mindset of looking for people that have been in the field to be on the corporate team, it's immeasurable. And I don't know, I really want to have a conversation for your listeners. This is your team call, obviously, and some others that have joined. But I mean, in your experience, why do you think that it matters so much that we have people on the corporate side that have been in your shoes, walking miles in your moccasins? Why do you think it's important?
Well, you know what? I think it's extremely important because you know what? Unless they've done it, they've been in the field, they know what it's like to sell a product, and now selling a higher ticket item product, and be able to know how to raise a team, to lead a team, to not manage, but to lead. So many of us think that a leader is someone that manages, but you know what? It's a matter of leading people in this industry. I mean, you're a leader. I mean, you're leading LifeWave. And so because you have that background, because you have that experience, you know what it's like to put on meetings, to do parties, to do conventions. And so it gives us a good direction, and you can lead the way because of what you did. I mean, I've been in this industry since 1980 and the last part of 80. And I know you've been in the industry as well, a long time. So that experience, and we've learned over the years, is you can't put a price on it. So
Good.
yeah.
No, thanks for that, Jim. And I think, and that's why people like Janine Weber, president of North America, biggest territory, over 60% of LifeWave's business. It is our premier region, and others are making moves and strides. And now we have other presidents on board, regional presidents with Christian, and obviously Dr. Edward has the most seniority. But it is so important to me whenever I'm interviewing. I want to know, and even if they haven't personally built, did they have it in their home? Was there were their parents involved in Amway? Was their mama, an Avon lady, whatever it might be, because the appreciation for what you do, it runs deep. And I think for David, even, a
Already did
limited
it with
time
that one.
doing
It had to
some
be done with
direct
that one.
selling in college, you have, an opportunity for people that really do understand it. And I think that the superpower that comes with it is just the ability for people like myself, but certainly Janine and others, because that's the team that, I've brought on here to lead LifeWave, are the people that understand, that legitimately understand. That way you're not speaking to people that don't. So, and yeah, no, coming from a durable good, it was interesting because I know we'll talk about it a little bit later in our agenda, Jim, but, it was interesting being in direct selling, for the 10 years I was in, and it was party plan, but a durable good, something that you sold once and that you didn't sell again, and once they had enough of your products, they had no need for you unless they were going to a wedding or something. And so it's a hamster wheel of customer acquisition is what it is, because you're always just needing to drum up customers. But it reminded me when X2O was in preparation, where are we going, and how is a field like we have at LifeWave, who has been working with a consumable commodity that you put on an auto ship, how are they going to transition? So I think that field experience, being even in durable goods, Janine also in durable goods, just really helps people to understand better where we're going. So, but yeah, no, 30 years in the business. And if you look at my entire career has been in direct selling, and now it's the first 10 years we're all in the field, and until I came over to the corporate side, just realizing I felt like I could do a lot more if I could help direct selling companies around the world to do better by their people, and just make better choices, smarter choices, more sensitive choices, and more respectful. and really understand what you bring. We don't have companies without all of you on this call. And that's what I love about David. And that's what you should love about David Schmidt too, is that there's no one who gets it, no founder that I've known that gets it the way he does. That's why you always hear the appreciation in his voice when he speaks of his fondness and affection and care for each of you.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. That's when I attend my first convention down in Florida and I heard him speak, I thought, hey, I can, hook my wagon to this. I knew from his passion, his knowledge and everything that he knew where he's going and he was going to go there. And, it's like life wave. I thought I got to jump this wave and ride this wave. So, yeah, it's really exciting. But it's like X39 is still our number one product. It's our X39 is what I lead with. I don't lead with other patch. I lead with X39 only. And then at that point, figure if I just get them to use it for the next 5-6 months. I wasn't one of those one patch wonders. It took me 4 months before I noticed a difference. And so, but I believed in the company. I believed in the science. I believed in where David Schmidt was going with the company. And so that's what kept me going. And so as we look at the company right now, and we look at X39 being our main focus, what would you think is what excites you about the direction we're going right now with hydration and what it means to the field? I mean, the X2O is an incredible technology, almost 7 years in development, and it's finally here. What would you say about,
Well, I think there's a couple of things. I can't help but be distracted by the notes because I'm always interested in what people are saying. So I think we'll focus on the X2O now, or else people are going to be going, oh boy, what was that all about?
Yeah.
But I think in building belief, because we're in the belief business, and X2O came along, and you're going to be hearing, you got to hear an incredible. I listened to the broadcast last week. Great science there, and you have David Schmidt coming on next week, who's going to talk product and science and all that. And I'm not here to train. So if you're popping on because you want to get a training about, the science behind the water, this isn't the call for you, because that's what David does and what David will do next week and what scientists do. What I'm here is to talk about business. I'm here to talk about the business of it. And so again, if you want to excuse yourself, I totally get it. But that's really the whole purpose of this segment, and why I think Jim you chose to do a 4-part series, is there's all these elements and components of the X2, and what does it mean to LifeWave? And so, we have an opportunity here that's very, very unique. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen anything like it. And the Kangen people, other people that are out there right now, in water. I was just actually a meeting with the CEO from another technology company that has very, very high priced products, but they have no consumables. They have nothing for an auto ship. And so Jim and I, we've talked about this many, many times over the last year, which is, what we have here at LifeWave for a business opportunity is you actually have an opportunity to be infused with something that will enhance the key to the door that opens the store. So if you look at X39 being the flagship product, which it is affordable for most people, and now you have, a water system that is actually going to enhance and have that product even work better, have the, the cellar dries work better. And, now you've got something that's going to magnify the benefits that you already have in your durable goods. So I think that, we certainly knew it was going to be popular, and I can see the questions asking, when. I know it's a burning question for everybody. We really had to make a business decision at this. It is a product that's never been made before. So it's not a toaster. You can't go to to some kind of a company and say, hey, just crank us out a bunch of toasters. It is a finely tuned piece of technology that is a brand new invention. So finding a company that could make them, and really the years that went into this were extreme and exhaustive, and really a labor of love. And so what happens here is you've got your system, but it's definitely not, we couldn't get up as many as we wanted to launch. But, the decision for the business was, okay, so do we wait until we have, 100,000 of them in the warehouse and then we can sell them and we don't have to worry about, stock outs or whatnot? Or do we say we know there are people that are so just desperate for the machine saying, please, can we just get the technology in our hands, do something? And so we made the decision knowing that we were going to be going through the units extremely quickly, but we decided to get them to market as fast as possible. And that's why the business decision was made to get them into the hands of the brand partners first, so that you could be building your testimonials, building your own stories, so that when we open it up in 60, 90 days, whenever it is for customers, once we've made sure that all of our brand partners have, the units that they want, then we can go ahead and open that up. So in any case, we are going to be, working out of the wait list. So when you ask the question, listener in the chat, what should I be, when can I have it? What we would say immediately, and Jim, I think you can weigh in on this, is that we've created a very seamless way for you to get on the waiting list. And as they come in and we get, say, 1,000 units, bang, every week we'll just be releasing them and we'll go right off that wait list. And that's the way that we're going to be working it. So again, I think, Jim, you've actually already been in the experience, and we already have, thousands of people already waiting. So I would say, do not delay in getting on that list, getting your brand partners on that list for right now. And Jim, it's pretty seamless, right? Getting signed up. Okay. How does it work?
It's so easy. I mean, I took one of my one of my actually customers in to corporate this morning, and followed the prompts and got a phenomenal customer service person online that's, says we'd like to get on that list. And they take your name, and after they verify, take your name, your cell phone number, and email address, and you go on the list. Now, this person was not he was a customer, preferred customer.
Okay.
And so right now we're only taking people's names that are brand partners. So I went ahead and we upgraded him to a brand partner. And then he actually was a brand partner, but he fell off to a customer because the $25 renewal fee. So we got him renewed, got him back to brand partner, got him on the list. And as the products come available, then they will contact those people in the order that they're on that list. So it's important, if you want to get your system, get on the list, make the phone call. Okay. Get on that list so that you're ready. But always, I know people that they don't check their email anymore. It's always text or messenger. Check your email. And every day, check your email, see if there's anything new from LifeWave, because you don't want to miss that opportunity. So real easy to do, seamless. And so,
well, and I think Coach Jim too, and we have a number of people obviously have already figured it out here in the chat who are talking about it. Thank you, Connie, Victoria, Debbie, as well, is that it is in your back office under resources. So you can go get you don't have to call customer service. You can go right there and get yourself on the list. But again, it is a FIFO. It's first in, first out, right? So what we're going to do is, and the minute they come in, we'll just have one bat. We're getting shipments in by the week, and we'll just be going bang, 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 out we go. So, and there will be a lot of fun things, David has in store. I know there's a special promotion they're working on right now, just to even sweeten the pie a little bit here, coming out of the gate, making sure again that we're just having fun with this, because it's a labor of love and it hasn't been available. And we really wanted to have it to you last year, and it's finally here. And we're so excited. And thank you to all of the brand partners, who were the early adopters, the Mascaris, others who got their units early and were trying and helping us to make sure that we were all ready to go to market. So we're so appreciative. As far as the country, I saw the comment there about the country rollout, and I know you have an FAQ at the end, Jim, but as far as the rollouts go, we are really focusing on the United States. However, what has been created is actually an adapter. And so, oh, good, Laura, I'm so glad. And so, but the adapter will be able to be used internationally. And so, but each country has its nuances about what they require. And so what we're really looking at is the largest territories right now around the world, certainly Europe, South Korea, Japan. So we're looking at the big countries first. And that's who's getting the attention. And then the other ones, I know the question came up about Australia, et cetera. That, there's a rollout schedule, and it isn't necessarily the biggest. There are a few that I know that they're gauging on, okay, who's the easiest, the most simple to get into. Some of them where there's just a lot of complexity, around regulatory and getting in there. Certain countries I won't call out here, but where you're just going, wow, that's going to be a heavy lift. And the key is that, as we stabilize production and we just get better and better at it, and faster and faster and faster, until we're up to capacity, production, we're going to take our time, but we're going to be very, very thoughtful, and everybody in logistics and operations, they're working with the heads of marketing to say, okay, let's really look at these countries. But we want to get it out globally. And the great news is that there is an adapt or fix for it. So what that means to each of you, if you're building an international business, is that you don't have to worry about, yay, thanks, Martin. And so that you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, I have to completely refigure and replumb the entire unit to be in a certain country. Not at all. What we just have to do is we just have to make the adapters so that you can plug them in. And so in any case, I think that there was a list, of who got. I've seen a few questions in the chat here about like who gets them first. We did have a list of critical needs people. And they were ones that were submitted by, their brand partner, their family, their friends. And we did make sure that they got, first treatment, the ability to get their hands on one. I would say that if you have a loved one or somebody that you wanted on that list to get their hands on one, I would just say escalate it to your regional sales manager. So whether you're East, Central, or West Coast in the United States, just get it to them. I got questions today. I've been being peppered with them about what about California? What about the other states? And we're looking at summer. So hopefully in summertime, that they'll be able to get there. It's just California has some special requirements. And so again, we make a lot of business decisions at corporate, and David's always at the forefront of making those decisions and making sure that everything is as he would like to have it. And one of those was, well, do we hold up the rest of the United States waiting for California, or do we just get them out as much as we can? And then, oh yes, also you can click on the X2O and it will pop up that wait list. You're right. But in any case, for the community, we decided, well, we're just going to go ahead and roll it for the United States, understanding it would be frustrating for our Californians, which is one of our top 3 markets, of course, in the U.S. But we wanted to get there. So I just want to say props for the early adoption, because what's going to happen, and again, we're going to want to stabilize inventory, get all of our brand partners taken care of. But when we open the floodgates for customers, obviously that's going to be a big happy day. But the more people and the more you can get your personal testimonial out there, it's the old adage, just be a product of the product, right? You'll have so much more powerful of a testimony, to be able to share. And really, what does it do? And I think as we look at something, Jim, you've said over time, is the power of having a consumable and the X2O. So as far as how you're going to be working with your teams, what products do you recommend that people lead with? And then we can make sure that we have those those bundles or those products ready, because we're going to be seeing a big spike in the more water units that get out in the market.
Yeah, and I agree. We still want to lead with the X39 and the Cellergize. The X39 is our main focus. Cellergize makes it even better. And so during this time, when you guys start thinking about, okay, we have to wait maybe a couple weeks or a couple months to get my machine, what are you doing? How are you warming up your warm market to take advantage of the X2O when it gets here? When we start, ramp up production, and how do you get your customers? How do you share with those people? And so one of the reasons why I started doing these Zooms, I started them a month ago, is to teach people about hydration, importance of hydration, and the importance of how to sell a higher ticket item. I've been selling this type of technology for 18 years now, and another 12 years before that, water technology as well. And so we're going to have trainings for those. And I'm going to continue doing these calls. In May, they'll be on Thursdays. But this month in April, we're doing it on Monday nights. And the thing is, we want you guys to start thinking about it. Who's your market? Who is your best person to talk to about this technology? Yeah, you want everybody to know about it, but who's the best one to talk to? So Meredith, as we look at down the road here, if people started getting these technologies in their hands, you and I both know that one of the biggest issues we have is making medical claims because
Yep. Yep.
you know what? I've
Yep.
been huge on compliance. I've taught compliance with other companies. And so we need to do is think about what we're telling people. Think about what we're saying to people. Think about things like I've heard people say on some of the calls, I'm going to bottle the water, sell the water. We can't do that. Okay. We need to do is think about how do we best protect the company so we have this as a long-term opportunity and they don't take it away from us. So what would you say
Mm-hmm.
about as far as that goes?
No, you're spot on, and I think that the more excitement that gets built here, the more that we really build on that momentum because as questions come about the customers, how are we going to keep up with the supply and demand? Because that's it. The product works, and for those of us that have been on it now for over a year, you notice a difference. It is a different when I'm away from it and for I'm traveling or I'm just somewhere that I can't just have it there on the counter. You do notice it. Sometimes it takes a few days, especially if you've been drinking it regularly on a daily basis. And it's like, oh, this is a bummer. Yeah. So but it's the strength, it's the weakness, it's the opportunity, it's the threat, right? It's a total SWOT product. That's the SWOT analysis of any business, which is okay. It is the strength that the product works. The threat is that it works so well that people won't be able to, control what they say. And it's so hard when you get enthusiastic, especially when somebody that you care about has had a life transformation, a health transformation. So, regarding how it works, you're going to be hearing a lot more about that from David. And we will have the filters, that come out, whether it's every 6 months, you'll be able to get those on auto ship. Obviously before the 6 months are up on any of these units, there will be a volume attached to them, but it'll be a small amount. The way that you're going to really build a business around it is to compliantly share the water, but to talk about it in conjunction with the other products. Because if you look at a bundle, and if you say that you have a bundle and we'll have one created by the time the customers come out, of course, which is, you'll have your X39, you'll have your AM/PM, of the Cellergize, because together it's a phenomenal, offering. And then you've got, that repeat order every month has well over 110 in volume, so you'll have that. It'll be, I think it's 130 something for that bundle. It hasn't been released yet, obviously. But as far as how, because you're going to get that kind of one and done on the big units, right? So you sell yourself technology, and this is the durable good, and the reason that we've taken the volume and we've divided it into two now out of the gate, it's going to be a little bit different for fun and for promotions. But the overall plan, of course, is that we need to make sure that we aren't giving you a ton of volume that then we might have to claw back for a return. And so the strategy is that we're going to give 25% of the volume, at really point of purchase, which is also when the selling bonus is going to be paid. So that's going to come right out of the gate. And then the following week, so we're looking at week, 2 and 3, because we're, the volume posting and paying is always a week in the 10 days in arrears, right? So, so when you get to that week 3, that's when you're going to get 75% of your volume, because we want to make sure that that volume is dispersed, waiting, so that then when that that 10-day return, or where that lands, that people have a chance to send them back, and then we don't have to be like doing negative commission adjustments because units were returned. So it was very, very intelligently done and well thought out. And it actually was David, again, being extremely respectful of just not wanting to be giving and taking away and giving and taking away. So again, it was very, very well thought out. So that 2,000 points, if you take a look at dividing that up, and then but what it won't do is the volume that is on that. It does not count towards the volume for like the customer premium, for example. Because it's a durable good, we're setting up a model for future durable goods that are in David's invention pipeline. And so when those come out, they won't trigger the customer, the customer premiums, because that is absolutely for for the people that are on auto ship. And that's what you really want to do, because if you can come in right out of the gate and you can say, get on the X39, buy the bundle, which is a perfect bundle. You get the X39, you'll get, the AM and the PM, and then you purchase that, then you'll obviously be a preferred customer. If you're a preferred customer, you're going to be buying the unit for the exact same amount you would as if you were a brand partner. So then you don't need to sign up your customers as brand partners. You can just sign them up as preferred customers on auto ship, which we know are stickier. They're still buying a year from now. In addition to the fact that what we've been working on for quite some time now is getting it so that the volume roll up is exactly the same. So unlike, if you sell to a preferred customer versus a brand partner, you have a differential between the volumes. We're looking at not having that on the units and having them be equal. And so that's the first time that we've had something like that, to be offered once the customers come online. For right now, I understand everybody's going to be still signing up brand partners because they want to get their hands on the technology, and you have to be a brand partner to get it. But that's a very temporary situation. And then you'll be able to go back to what we're seeing like this, our customer enrollments right now. Brand partner enrollments are down because finally people are seeing, listen, I can sign up as a preferred customer, and I still now with the customer premium, I can do just as well. And we know that they stay, longer than brand partners, as far as for that reordering. So back to your point about compliance, Jim, you're so wonderful. I know I saw some questions earlier on about when are we going to get that recording? When are we going to get to see that last week recording? But what Jim is doing, so the audience knows here, is that he is meticulously taking all of his videos and he's sending them to the compliance department to put it in AI, and to make sure that everything that you see on these recordings will be, above board, so that you can go through with confidence in the training aspects, especially because obviously I'm talking a lot of business speak. So it isn't going to be as compliant, much of a compliant risk, because I'm not talking about, hey, you're going to, you sell this many of these and you're going to be rich. I mean, that's just silly, right? That's not where this conversation is going. It's going in a place where, you can have a business, you can actually have a durable good that will reward you richly. But the key to success, it's those ongoing repeat orders, right? People that are in love with our products, Jim. So we'll have very strong health claims. We need you to abide by them. Frankly, we just need you to follow, because nothing would be sadder, more sad than, to finally get this product to market and then, get ourselves caught in regulatory crosshairs because people are running around calling it something that they shouldn't. There's many names I've seen people use for it. While, that may be somebody's personal experience, we certainly can't talk about it in that way. So just, we've made the claims that we can. We've done the best that we can. One of the reasons that the filters were delayed is we were really trying to ramp up the filter conversation about what we could say. And so we're just trying to be extremely responsible here. But thank you, Jim, for all you do to champion compliance, because you are a shining rock star when you say your name, in the halls of that area of the office. Everybody smiles when they say your name out loud, because you are a great player. And so all of you that are on his team, I would say follow the leader with great respect. Thank you, Jim.
Well, thank you for that, Meredith. So before we open this up for a little Q&A, and I want people to understand, I've been like selling water technology for 30 years in some high ticket items. People don't need to know all the science. They don't need to know how everything works. Your story is going to help you sell more than anything else. And so when you start reading all the literature came out, all the information, don't get scientific with people. I was one of the top sellers in another company before this in the ionization world. I was a technician for them and a master trainer. When I first started off, I sold a ton of machines. But when I started learning the science and started regurgitating the science, my sales dropped like a rock. And I had one of those moments. I sat there in my living room. I remember like yesterday. It's like, what's going on? My sales have gone flat. Well, I took Jim out of the equation. I took the customer out of the equation. I started trying to be that scientist. You don't need to do that. People just need to know, uh, does it work? What do it for you? Without getting into the science, without getting into making medical claims, share your story. So I think what we're going to do is if you have any questions, we have about 5 or 10 minutes here left. If you have a question, raise your hand. If you don't know how to do that, you just go down to the bottom and in the reactions, where the little heart is, click on that, raise your hand, and we will do is we will, Gregory and one or two of the people will unmute you and you can ask your question. So Darlene is the first one, or Darlene Higdon is the first one to hand up. So Gregory, you want to go ahead and unmute her?
Hey, yes, I'm so tickled to hear about this and focusing on my business and my health. I have basically two questions. One is, I know what you said about the selling of the bottled water, and I wasn't interested in that. But what I do want to know is, like, if I'm here and the water machine's in my house and I have a home party, I use that like in a little glass jar and give out the samples while I'm doing the meeting of showing a video or whatever.
Mhm. You know, Darlene, that's a great question. I think, if it were me and all I can do, because, I've had one outside of, the office door for quite some time, and so, and we have a schedule, we're all on a list at what time, that we all come, dispense our water. And then we have somebody that we call the machine, the nanny, the nanny of
Yeah.
the X2O. And
Yeah.
they're constantly making sure that the reservoir is full, reservoir is full, because from, 7 in the morning until really 7 at night, that machine is humming all day, with people coming and getting glasses. Yes, you can let it sit. I know that, David, if you want to look at it in an ideal world, it's dispense and drink it all. Don't sip, drink it all down all at one time. I mean, that was how David, for my first time in the lab, had me drink it. And I noticed the difference if I kind of drag it on, where you really want to get that pop. And the question
Yeah.
was, how do you talk about it compliantly? But it's your feeling of well-being, and you can say things like that. And that's why you go back to all the resources someone pointed out earlier, in the chat, is go into the back office. There are lots of resources in there, and you will see those statements. And again, approachable statements, Darlene, that aren't going to be a lot of science speak, because your friends aren't going to believe it if all of a sudden you start talking about double-blind placebo human
Oh,
clinical
that's not
trials.
me.
Yeah. Well, they're going to look at you and just go, "I'm sorry, really, Meredith?" I mean, they're just going to. Well, I mean, I might be able to get away with some of it, but not at the level like of a David, or any of the doctors that might be listening in right now. But you can talk authentically about it. But others of us, we just need to live our lives, and we just need to say, "Wow, I just know that my mood is so enhanced. I know that when I drink, my outlook is better. I have more of a positive attitude. I feel a sense of mental clarity." And just everything seems brighter and sharper for hours and hours after, I drink it. So again, that's my personal story. So those are the things that you'll want to craft and let people just experience them for themselves. And it's going to be different. And I believe that, like, if I, personally, if I use it and I'm not taking patches that day for whatever reason, it works for me a certain level. But when I have my X39, my X49, my SP6, my glutathione, whatever I happen to, be rocking that day, it seems like, and you will know if you're in touch, if you listen to your body and you're in touch with that, and you just have that consciousness, that stream of consciousness, that's understanding what your body's saying to you, you will know, you will know.
Right.
And you won't have to make up crazy wild stories for them. Just let them experience it, and just tell them to be aware and to be alert of the messages that they're hearing. And it's pretty incredible.
Now, one other quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
If you're doing this as a brand partner, and I know they're going to go fast, if they say, well, Darlene, I just really don't want to be a brand partner, I want to be a customer, about how long you think that would be down the road before they would be able to get it?
It's a great question. I would like to say, I mean, and you're asking me personally, so I would say I would just probably give it 60 to 90 days. I think for the first couple of months, we have got to get the brand partners taken care of first and
Yes,
foremost.
ma'am.
Yeah, and then the customers, after that. So we will make sure that we have it. We need to make sure that we have, a lot more inventory on hand. And we're going to get there. But right now we just had obviously, you sell out in less than 2 hours.
Yes.
That's a pretty big run, but lots of people, and now we have a lot of people in queue. And that's why I would say just get in queue. Get in queue. Looks like we have a lot of
Okay.
hands up there. We should be
Thank
fine.
you.
We're just
Thank
going to
you.
take one or two more here. If you guys keep it
Okay.
really short. Dana, Sparks, go ahead.
Hey, I just got my machine today, so thank you. I'm excited. So my question is, in the quick start guide for the media that goes into the primary filter, it says remove netting, remove and discard the protective wrap and netting from the filter media. Yet the little videos show the gal keeping that little netting on before inserting it into the primary filter.
I'm going to need to look into that question, but Jim, I'm going to, if you,
I would say is go to watch the YouTube. I did that on setting up your machine. Okay.
the video, I would say I would probably run to the video, but I need to look at that immediately if we have a contradiction. Thank you for telling us. Yeah, I just mean, I'll get that over to marketing right away.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
Dana.
great question. Thank you. And thank you.
Raymond, if you got a real quick question, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that last week's meeting was most beneficial. I've been trying to figure out how is it and what can I tell somebody that is happening to me. Between last week and this week, I enhanced my usage to 3 times a day, in the morning, the middle of the day, and then at night. The interesting thing was, Jim, you said that the water feels slippery. And see, I have been trying to figure out what's this, how does it taste? Why is it? It feels slippery. And then you went on to explain why it's slippery and how it immediately goes into the body. So just to say that, I've been on the water since a beta test, which is October. That was very, very informative for me. And I went from morning, noon, and night, and I'm feeling the differences. But that slippery was definitely what I was looking for, to try and share with somebody else. When you feel it's slippery, it means it's evaporating into the body. So that was great.
Now, Raymond, just so everybody knows, next week's is David Schmidt. The following week, we have a panel of doctors. And I'm going to have Dr. Filzer back again, but we have Dr. Stacy and Dr. Harmon and one other doctor, and then we're going to be talking about these. And so you understand more of that. So thanks for the question. Dr. Latrice, real quickly.
Yes. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, great. My question is, I have BPs, I have PCs that are thinking about becoming BPs to get the water machine. They buy that water machine. Now they're over $5,000 spent. Will they then incur a 1099 from the company?
No.
So 1099s are based on commissions earned. I would just have to, I think, what is it, like 600, Jim? I'm not sure about that number exactly when you actually generate that. I would have to look at that question. I'm not sure.
Right, because I thought it was twofold. I thought it was once you earn $600 or more in commission,
right,
or once you spend $5,000 or more in product.
No.
So
I've not heard that, but that doesn't mean you're not correct. I have not heard that, but that's another question I'll ask. I love these. And I think, hey, Julie, I think silky is a better way to say it than slippery. I would agree with you. I think silky is a much sweeter word to say.
Smooth.
I like
smooth.
Yeah,
smooth.
slippery.
Thank you so much.
Like
I'll look forward to that answer. Thank you, Miss Meredith. Thank you.
You're welcome. Of course.
One more question here, guys. I'm sorry, I got to cut a couple.
Thank you, Jim.
Mary, go ahead.
Okay. Two really quick questions. If I have a retail outlet like a med spa or practitioner, can they sell a glass of water out of their premises?
Go ahead, Jim. I can see you're already all over
against
that
the law.
one.
It's like I've gone through this for years with compliance with another company, and so you cannot sell the water. I actually had the oldest water store in the world for the other company, and we gave water away free. And so
you're allowed to give it away, but you can't sell it out of the
can't sell it. No. Once you sell it, it becomes a food item. Once you bottle it, it becomes a food item, and you have to go through all kinds of regulations. And the company doesn't want to deal with that, and you don't want to deal with it either. So
Okay,
I
so
get water
if I
free.
give them a glass of water just for free, and
Yep.
then they decide they want to buy it on their own, you can sign them as a brand partner at that time. Is that correct?
So, Jim, I would love to take this one if I can, because because you're actually hitting a spot that I'm really passionate about. So, when you go into when I go in to see my acupuncturist, for example, she carries a lot of supplements. I mean, her shelves are full of supplements. And so you think about, the customer experience, and you think about X39, and you think about Stellar Dries as well. So if you were to do something where you had, those available, and that they could on their way out just, go up to reception and say, because if you say, Meredith, really think you should try the X39, you want to try it for 90 days on your way out. If you will, just stop at reception. We already have your credit card on file. You're my patient. They will sign you up as a preferred customer, so you can buy it wholesale just like I do, and try it for 90 days. And you can just, go back and forth with the company, cancel it at any time. But you get them on that auto ship so that they will be ready. And then what you can do is you can gift them, a glass of water when they come in, especially to your customers, that are purchasing, supplements from you, especially if they're LifeWave. And then when they're just loving it, because if they're on the patches, I mean, the chances are, and again, I'm not making a medical claim here, but I just know from experience and being around it now in the office, that those of us that are using patches, those of us that are mixing every morning, the AM, and then drinking the PM at night, when we go to bed, I got over there on my nightstand. When you do that and you drink the water, you feel it. And so then I think that you'll have a lot more likelihood that they may end up buying a machine. They'll have gotten familiar with it in your store, and then they'll already be a preferred customer, so they will already buy it, at the price, at the best price, and you'll be getting, obviously looking for the full volume. So anyway, that's just you will see. I mean, if I were a chiropractor, if I were in the wellness professional building, I would just consider gifting people water, especially ones that were my LifeWave customers.
Okay, great. That's that incorporates it, right? Because they are on all the patches. So I love that idea. Thank you so much. And one last quick question. You mentioned an adapter. I have a couple people that want to order the machine, but some of them might be moving out of the country, and they didn't want to get it and then not be able to use it out of the country eventually when they move. So would that adapter be okay? Like whenever they come out with that, would it be on these machines that we have now as an adapter into different countries? Would that work?
So what we would do is we would just have the different plugs. If you've been to Korea, if you've been to Japan,
Right.
if you've been around Europe, that they're all different. That's why
Right.
they have the one adapters that have like 5 different settings that
Right.
pop out, like that. So we're looking at that. It isn't as simple as just finding the adapter, though, because the claims that we can make and the things that we say are very different country to country. And so that's what's going to slow down us. And of course, just supply and demand right now. It's going to be a process, but there is a plan. David is, just all hands on, working really closely with other executives and the marketing team to make sure that we have a plan we can execute to get this product out to everyone.
Because they were wondering if it was going to be too high of a voltage type of thing. Like
I see the question about surge protector, and it's actually a very, very low voltage.
Okay.
It doesn't require a lot. I mean, we just plug it right into the wall. It's not and there's nothing fancy where we have it, and they're not worried about surging either, because we did ask that question early.
Great answer. Thank you guys so much for answering those 2 questions for me.
Meredith, I want to thank you for sharing with us tonight, and being part of this. It's incredibly valuable. And so if you guys like what you're seeing, make sure that you join us next week. David Schmidt will be on, inventor, CEO of the company. He'll be sharing a different perspective for you. And so
bring a friend.
Yes, bring a friend. And then, like I said, we're trying the YouTube thing. Hopefully that's working well. And then, so once again, Meredith, thank you very much. And I know you have a very important dinner to get to, so I'm going to let you go to that. And so everybody, if you want to unmute and say thank you, you can do that. And
Meredith.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
thank you, Meredith.
Jim, thanks, Meredith.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Meredith.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Mahalo.
Happy dinner.
Meredith.
Thank you,
Mahalo.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.